Good morning and welcome to the Mental Breakdown Morning Show, the inaugural episode of the Mental Breakdown Morning Show. I'm Dr. Bernie Wilkinson.
I'm Dr. Richard Marshall.
And we announced this on our last full podcast, but
Right.
Starting today, which is September 12th,
It is.
we are going to start a morning program, morning podcast, it'll be up on YouTube and on a variety of media, to just talk a little bit about different mental health things, different things that are going on. And they're going to be shorter episodes, about 15, 20 minutes or so, depending on how much Dr. Richard wants to talk. They may last a little bit longer, but they're going to be about that length, and we're going to talk about a variety of things, all kinds of different things.
Yep. Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Get your day off to a good start.
Well, we hope so. And so just a quick little what we're doing kind of outline. Each morning, we're going to kind of tackle a different thing. So on Mondays, we're going to talk about things on, how to get your week going well, how to get things happening, what's coming up this week. We have some things, especially for parents, that's important coming up this week. On Tuesdays, we're going to talk about mental health things that are in the news.
Right.
So we're going to talk about things that are in some of the popular press, media, but also in news reports, and maybe even we'll review some journal articles and research that's been recently published on Tuesdays, just to catch you up on some things that's been going on and what's happening.
Right. I'm looking forward to that one because there are things that appear in the news that you like to talk about and say, hey, by the way, take a look at this, or take a look at this new finding, take a look at this new procedure.
Right.
So we can hopefully keep you up to date on what's happening in the field.
Absolutely. And on Wednesdays, I think Wednesdays is a day that I'm really excited about too, because Wednesdays is where we're going to take questions from you, the listeners, and we're going to spend time talking about them and answering them, and hopefully, again, providing some information that will be helpful for you and your family at home.
Right.
Thursdays are going to be a bit of a hodgepodge day, a potpourri.
Brown bag special.
A brown bag special.
As we say.
So Thursdays we're going to do different things. We're going to, we may talk about mental health conditions, just to give you some actual information about what mental health conditions are and what they look like, and what may be some misperceptions and misunderstandings about different conditions that are in the popular press and movies and TV shows and that kind of thing.
And there may be things that come up during the week,
Yeah.
which we don't want to wait until Monday, so we'll talk about on Thursday. So
Absolutely.
It'll give us a day to talk, be more flexible. Kind of the Mickey Mouse Club used to have Wednesday was anything could happen day.
Oh.
So you don't remember the Mickey Mouse Club?
Well, I heard about it.
You've seen video replays of it.
That's right.
So Thursday will be our anything can happen day.
Right,
Okay.
right. And then Friday is just getting you ready for the weekend. Friday is going to be the weekend wind down, and we're going to get you ready for the weekend, talk about some things to think about over the weekend. And every day, we're going to hopefully give you a little bit of motivation, a little bit of drive, a little bit of encouragement to keep working towards those goals that we know that you're trying to reach, and work towards that change that you're wanting in your life. Every morning we're going to kind of end with just some reminders and some encouragement to help you keep pushing that way.
Right.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
And this is going to be more relaxed. Yeah, I've got my coffee.
Now
with
on
me.
Fridays we're going to do this, right? At
Right.
6:30.
Right.
Will we do our regular podcast then?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because our regular podcast will still go out on Saturday mornings.
Right.
So we'll have these Monday through Friday, and then our regular podcast will go out on Saturdays. That'll, again, kind of be a little bit more in depth, talking about some other issues and other things. We'll bring lots of different information in.
Sounds good.
Sound all right?
Sounds good.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So
today's topic is...
today's topic is...
today's issue is getting ready for the week.
Getting ready for the week.
Anticipating the week.
So, it's interesting because if we had done this last week, we would have been able to talk about the fact that last week was Suicide Prevention Week.
Suicide Prevention Week,
Yeah.
that's right.
So
we could have discussed that topic.
And again, that's sort of the idea of Mondays, is to talk about what's coming up this week.
Right.
And so there's not really any particular mental health related awareness days or anything this coming week. However, I will say that September is self-awareness and self-improvement month.
Oh, the whole month.
The whole month.
Ah. Okay.
So that works
was next week.
That does work out perfectly, because that means that this entire month the focus is on improving yourself, improving and just being more self-aware, which is something that we always talk about here on the Mental Breakdown. So September is not suicide improvement month. That would not be a good month at all. It's a self-awareness month and self-improvement month.
Right. Good.
And so
Good.
we encourage you, of course, to always work towards improving yourself and making things better for you.
Right.
So, but this coming week is more important, maybe most important, for parents, because this is we did the math this morning, and last Friday was about the end of the 4th week of school. Mm-hmm. Which means
of the new school year,
which is crazy that it's flying by so fast.
So this first 9 weeks is now half over.
Yeah,
and so
interims come out this week.
Parents will be receiving interim grade reports.
Right,
how your child is doing in the first half of the first 9 weeks.
Yeah,
how's this school year? Are we getting off to a good start?
Right,
the school year.
Right. So it's a big month. Or big week. Because students are going to be. They're going to get their grades. They're going to get those assessments this week, and parents, you just got to really make sure that you respond appropriately. Our last podcast was all about the fact that you can't just take away cell phones just because they're doing poorly in school, or that kind of consequence, that kind of punishment really isn't fitting in that kind of situation. It's not. That shouldn't be the default punishment.
Right. And we want to urge parents, first of all, look at those grades. That's the first thing. Don't ignore them. Don't let this go by. This is an excellent opportunity for you to take a look at how your child or your children are doing in school. But it is the beginning of the year. So first of all, look at the grades. Second, look at them calmly.
Right.
Okay. Don't overreact. Remember, we're just getting into the beginning of the year. There are grades maybe that haven't been posted yet. There are assignments that haven't been turned in yet. So these grades could change. Use this as an opportunity to calculate, to get a sense of how your child is doing at the beginning of the school year. Keeping in mind that usually many kids do real well at the beginning of the year, slide at the end of the year. Other students get off to a horrible start, but pick up as the school, once they get warmed up, once they get back into school mode. So think about your child. What is your child's temperament? Is she a fast starter? Is she a slow starter? And with all that in mind. So point number 1 is, please look those grades over.
Right.
Point number 2 is, look them over calmly.
Right.
Don't overreact. This is no time to overreact.
Right.
What we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Don't start taking away privileges. Don't start pushing. Don't start But number 3, sit down and talk to your child. Yeah. This is a good time to talk about each course, each teacher. Yeah. What are the strategies that we're going to use to make improvements as the year goes on?
Absolutely. Those steps are so important. But, again, we're midway through the first 9 weeks, the first term. Mm-hmm. It's not a time to panic.
Exactly.
Even if you have your child has very poor grades this first 9 weeks, or this first 4 weeks of the first 9 weeks, it's not a time to panic. It's not a time to start throwing out, huge restrictions and huge punishments and all that kind of stuff. If your child says, this comes up with families all the time. If your child says, well, I had that poor grade, but, I turned those things in and she just hasn't graded them yet. There's no reason to pounce and just, really go after your child because of having a 0 or something like that. Email the teacher. Right. If you have a question, if you're not sure, email the teacher. Make sure that what your child is telling you is accurate before you automatically assume that, well, here he is trying to get out of work again, or here he is trying to avoid punishment again.
I think one day last week we talked about, don't argue with your children.
Yeah.
If it's even remotely
that was
possible.
One of our morning conversations that'll be on this show from now on. Because
what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, it was.
Yeah, it was before the podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
And so don't argue with your child. If there's a disagreement, I've had people come into I've had my wife and my daughter will argue with each other about something. All you have to do is call the teacher or email the
Right.
teacher. It's not something you argue about.
Right.
Get the information that you need and then act accordingly. But don't argue with your children about assignments or about teachers or anything. Get the information you need. Don't argue.
Right.
Okay. Please don't argue.
Yeah. There's so few situations where you really need to argue.
Exactly.
Because no one's going to win with an argument.
There is an answer to that. Either the assignment was posted or it wasn't.
Right.
Either the assignment was due or it wasn't. Either the assignment counted or it didn't. But these are all things that are easily answered.
Right.
And then you don't have to argue about things. Because remember that those arguments lead to disrespect. You're being disrespectful. Okay. Then you've switched from the assignment to being disrespectful. So don't go down that slippery slope.
Right. And sometimes as parents we think, well, this teacher always did it this way. So if this teacher, if there were things turned in but weren't graded yet, this teacher would put a Z in the in the online where we can monitor our kids so incredibly frequently. They put a Z in there so it doesn't count towards the overall thing. Some teachers put in zeros.
Right.
My
As
son
a
had
placeholder.
a teacher. Just as a placeholder.
Right.
My son had a teacher last year that would put in zeros. It raised some concern early on, but he said no. I had turned it in. And so we got in touch with the teacher, and sure enough, the zero was just there as a placeholder.
That's right.
So
it just says that the assignment hasn't been turned in yet. Okay.
Right. And so just talk to the teacher if you have any significant questions. But maybe even better than talking to the teacher is having your child talk to the teacher.
Yes.
Having your child email the teacher. One of the things that I really like for parents to do is have their child email the teacher, but CC the parent. Like CC them so that the teacher knows the child is sending this email, I'm CCing my parent, and so when the teacher responds, hopefully, the teacher will respond to all, and so you'll see the teacher's response as well. This is putting some of the responsibility on the child, which is exactly what we want to do. We want to put some of that onus on the child so that they take responsibility for, making sure, because we know that this happens as well. Kids will say that they turn in something. Kids will turn in something, but the teacher loses it.
Teacher loses it.
It happens.
I'm a teacher. I've lost some assignments.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to admit it, but it happens.
And there's no way to completely prevent that from happening. So have your child email the teacher just to make sure, CC you on the email, and that way, again, what's going on, what's happening.
And I think you can really start that process by late middle school. By
absolutely.
late elementary school, by 4th or 5th grade, students should begin to learn how to become self-sufficient. And in our business, we talk about prior to about age 10 or so, we have something called attachment parenting, where we want to be involved with our children. But about in the preteen years, we want to begin the other side of that coin, which is detachment parenting. We want to start to withdraw and turn more of these responsibilities over to our children. So I think by late elementary school, students should be negotiating directly with their teacher about most things, and certainly grades. There are other issues where it may take some parental intervention, but I think in most cases, the typical 4th or 5th grader is completely capable of beginning to learn how to negotiate these things. They won't be good at it at first, but give them a chance to learn.
Right. And that's the situation where you write the email, I'll check it, make sure that you include things, make sure you use the right grammar and you present your point appropriately. But we talked before about Vygotsky and scaffolding and things like that. That's all that is. That's all that is putting your child in a position to where they have to take some responsibility that whether they're completely prepared for or not, but they should be. They're capable of it. Whether they have the specific skills to do it yet or not is sort of secondary. You're putting them in a position where they're going to push that ability a little bit, and so hopefully they'll gain that skill, and it's exactly what we want them to do in college. So developing that over the last 4 or 5 years of their primary education is really important.
And that notion of scaffolding, I think, is a real good way to think about this, is that we put our children in a situation, we're still there as support, what we call scaffolding, but we're encouraging the student to learn how to do it on his own, his or her own.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that notion of scaffolding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming up this week. Parents, think about that. Keep that in mind. Don't overreact. Don't start taking away privileges and start punishing and slamming the kids because of all that.
And remember, consequences should teach. So we don't want to just rush toward. Well, I gotta start hammering this kid because his grades are not what we expected. No. This is not the time to do that.
Right.
And remember what Dr. Burney said at the beginning. Wednesday is questions from listeners.
Right.
So if you have questions, if things are coming up that you'd like to talk about, or you have questions about how should I handle this, that'd be a good thing to do on Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Let us know what's happening in your house, and we'll talk about it here. Okay?
Absolutely. So every week we're going to end, or every day, not even every week anymore.
Right.
Every day that's going to take a little bit of a transition to go from.
It's going to take a lot of transition
every day. Wow.
Because
you're going to have to start getting.
I'm up early in the morning. I mean, I always get up early in the morning, but I'm usually, it's private. Nobody sees me until later on in the day.
Oh.
So now I have to get dressed and combed and brushed out.
Please get dressed and combed.
But it's good to get the day off to an early start and a good start.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm excited about this.
And I'd love to spend it with you guys. So
absolutely. And so every day we're going to end with just a reminder about taking care of yourself today. Make sure that you get out, go for a walk. Go walk
exercise.
For it. This podcast has been going for about 20 minutes or so.
Between 15
so,
and
20. If you just were walking while you were listening to this podcast,
they can do that?
You can do that. If you were walking while you're listening to this podcast.
Unless you have an iPhone 7.
What?
No headset. No.
It's got an adapter. People slamming it. iPhone 7. I'm defending it. I don't even have one.
Hurry up and get one.
I haven't even pre-ordered it yet or anything.
Hurry up and get one.
But
no, you can listen to this while you're walking.
So if you listen to this while you're walking, that's how much walking you need for the day.
Right.
20 to 30 minutes is all you need of moderate intensity walking. That's it.
Right. That's all you need.
And I'm so excited about our conversation tomorrow because I've already started collecting. I've already started collecting some data.
That is an interesting one. Tomorrow is going to be a good one because I didn't know. I don't want to spill any. I didn't know that you could do that.
Yeah. So
that's going to be a good one.
I can give the title.
No.
No? Okay.
No, just tune in because it's really going to be a good discussion tomorrow.
Yeah. So make sure you go for a walk today. Eat healthy. Eat some vegetables today. What do you think? Eat some vegetables today.
Plan. Plan your day. And remember, you're going to have lots of inhibition. You're going to have lots of self-control in the morning, but it's going to wear off during the day. So know that by nighttime you're going to be tempted to eat some stuff you shouldn't eat. So remember that you're going to have lots of resolve now, but try to hang on to that resolve as the day goes by. Don't give in tonight when you're just tired and you don't have the kind of resolve you have right now. So get the day off to a good start.
You know how I prevent myself from doing that, from eating late?
No. I did it last night. Finally, I'm starting yesterday. I promised myself I would start yesterday.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah. See, good. Great job. I do that by when I feel that tendency to want to keep snacking. Mm-hmm. I go ahead and it sounds silly. I go ahead and brush my teeth because food doesn't taste the same after you brush your teeth.
Right.
And so you're not in the mood to eat right after you brush your teeth. So I'll brush my teeth early.
That's right.
And then it makes sure that I don't
and drink
eat
water.
Anymore.
Drink water. Because frequently when you think you're hungry, you're really thirsty.
Right.
So if you brush your teeth, food doesn't taste good after that.
Right.
And if you use mouthwash, it's even better.
Right.
So you're not going to want food after you Listerine. But also drink a lot of water, and that will also satisfy some of those hunger cravings. So
most of the time when we feel like we're hungry, it's really we're
thirsty.
dehydrated. We're thirsty, so we need water.
So but work on those night times. That's my struggle now. I started yesterday. I decided that I had to do it this weekend. But night times are the hardest times because you don't have a lot of resolve, you don't have a lot of inhibition. You use it up during the day.
Right.
So
we feel like we need some extra energy to make it through those last little bit.
Yeah.
Because we were tired from the day. You had the weekend off for the most part. and then you come in on work all day Monday, and you have to push through to make it until the kids go to bed and you get everything done. And so we feel like we need to eat a little bit more because we need that extra energy to get through that little bit. But really, we don't. We can make it.
One other thing that I want to mention. Can I mention one more thing?
Sure. Hey, this is like...
Okay. Well, yesterday was the 15th anniversary.
Yes, that's right.
Of 9/11. And every station was replaying videos of that.
Wow.
And it is heartrending to hear those stories and see those. Even 15 years later, doesn't seem like 15 years, but even 15 years later, it's heartrending. So if that puts you in a bit of a funk, and it did, I mean, it does that to you because it was just on, it was unrelenting. And those personal stories they're just heartrending. Try to turn that into something positive.
Right.
Even if you're feeling a little bit down or a little bit negative or a little bit angry, try to take those emotions and repackage them and do something positive that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Okay. Do something for somebody else, but take all that stuff and repackage it. Make something good happen today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's crazy that it was 15 years ago. My son was 8 months old.
Right.
When it happened, and he's a sophomore in high school.
It's going to be a history lesson for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the first inaugural episode.
Launch this vessel
of the Mental Breakdown Morning Show.
Right.
I think that's what we're going to call it.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
We're going to keep messing with the title. Who knows? It's all going to go on the same podcast and under the same YouTube channel. Well, I'll put a new playlist under the YouTube channel.
I like the Mental Breakdown Morning Show.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. So thanks so much for listening or watching, or whichever the case may be. Make sure you write to us. Let us know.
Yes.
We'd love a review on iTunes, or for you to subscribe and share with others our YouTube channels. That'd be great. So, all right.
Good job.
Have a great day.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Have a great one. All right. Bye-bye.